Hey everyone, my name's Captain Jack and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking a bit more about Dual Universe as well as its pre-alpha and what the future of the game actually beholds. Let's first take a look at the trailer that dropped recently. So just looking at that trailer there, we get a glimpse of what Dual Universe is currently doing and the future of the game, also what it means as well. So we see there tons of little starfighters flying around, a character stood on his fighter which I would describe as a Viper from Battlestar Galactica. It does look like that personally. As well as that, when the camera eventually pans around, we do get to see about 60 players, 50 to 60 players running behind them there, and we can presume they are real players. And what this means is that Dual Universe's single shard universe is slowly coming alive. Now for the future, this means amazing things. It means the promise that Dual Universe originally made is going to be built upon and is actively being worked upon. This is what the pre-alpha was designed to do. It was designed to test the limits of the game, how far they're coming so far, what the game can do, what it beholds, and the limitations they may have to set out. So, the pre-alpha was recently released. The Saturday it's just gone now. Loads of people jumped into it, they had a play around the game, and it kind of went from there. Now a lot of people are asking, oh, how come no YouTubers or no press people have seen any footage out of the pre-alpha? Well, that is because it was under NDA. Now what that means is basically it's a non-disclosure agreement. We couldn't actually show you any of the gameplay there. Now there's many reasons for this. A lot of game companies do NDAs sometimes, and this is simply to protect certain things which aren't ready for the public just yet. Now some people do criticise this, the fact they're not being too transparent, however, I kind of agree with it. Dual Universe are trying to go with a sort of polished look of things. They're keeping open at the same time by telling us what they're working on, but at the same time they like everything to be ready so that it's not going to horrendously break when people first get into it. Now my prediction was that pre-alpha was a bit buggy at times, maybe it did a few crashes, things did not go as planned. Now we didn't want people picking this up and instantly criticising the game, because at the end of the day it's a pre-alpha, it's literally before the alpha of the game, so you can't expect things to be completely polished just yet. So that's probably the reason why it was under an NDA, and I totally stand by that idea. Unfortunately, I couldn't get access to test out the alpha, however, people have mentioned to me that it was very good, without giving details away, obviously, without breaking NDA. But people who I do know that have been in it have said it's very good, and I'm looking forward to trying it. They're looking forward to me trying and seeing my reaction, which is going to be good soon. Hopefully, the actual alpha version is dropping very soon. I don't know if it's this year or next year, so we're going to have to look out soon for when the actual alpha version of Dual Universe does drop, but it can't be far away there. So instantly in the trailer we see about 5 star cruisers, or big starships as I'm nicknaming them, up in space there, and they're sort of drifting in the planet's high atmosphere there. They're flying around. Instantly we get a small fighter do a flyby of where our player stood. We see our player stood there on a fighter, what I only can see is a Viper as I previously mentioned. A lot of ties to Battlestar Galactica in Dual Universe, particularly the respawning system. I discussed this in my interview with JC this time last year. I'll leave the trailer, the interview up in a card so you can go click it and watch the interview I did with him. Going to do a new one with him very soon, so keep an eye on that. Any questions you might have for Dual Universe, please do leave them down below in the comments. Continuing back to this, we see players running around in the background there, near a city. Now, this is either a player-built city, however, I find that unlikely. Maybe it was a city built so people could test it in the pre-alpha. If not, this may be the spawn hub, or the local safe zone on the planet. Because this has been discussed before, that there's going to be sort of like an ARC ship location where all players will be safe, no one can be killed, no catastrophes can happen, and it's going to be a safe place where people can hang around, chat to friends, and basically chill out there. Now, to gain resources and everything else, you have to actually venture out of the safe zone into the big wide world eventually. That's where you can get resources and start building your organisation. This is a great little plan for the game because it means people aren't going to instantly get bombarded or attacked when they spawn into the game. Because a lot of people, when they join Dual Universe, are not really going to have a clue what to do, which is totally understandable. It's a giant different game, and it would freak anyone out. I mean, look at the size of those Star Cruisers there. I'd love to see more footage out of the pre-alpha, and hopefully Nova Corps might actually release and show some soon, because it'd be pretty cool to see that. But even so, those fighters flying around, and then all those players walking behind there, it shows great things for what's to come in Dual Universe. And as I mentioned previously, it shows that the single shard universe is now coming together, and this means great strides for Nova Corps and JC themselves. So, looking forward to the future, what has Dual Universe got to hold? Well, I don't think we're going to see an alpha release this year. That might be a bit too soon. It purely depends on the results of pre-alpha released and gave Nova Corps and how they're going to work on that. If the results were good and everything held up nice tight, then it means we're probably going to get an alpha this year. Unlikely, maybe early next year is what I'm bouncing on. So I'd love to see an alpha this year, but I think it's slightly unlikely because maybe at the end of November, but I think it's going to be too soon. We're still waiting for a new dev dive from JC to pop out. If you guys don't know who I mean by JC, if you're new to this video, JC is the founder of Nova Corps and the guy behind Dual Universe. He's called Jean-Christophe Barley. You can check him out in dev diaries, also on his research in AI, which is really cool, and shows quite a lot for Dual Universe as well. Now, alpha footage has shown before that we've got tons of players walking around on the planet, and hopefully that's what the pre-alpha gave us. Now, as I mentioned earlier, looking forward to the future, what is going to happen with Dual Universe? Well, first things first, just to interject here, I'm going to be covering most of the latest releases out of Dual Universe, so feel free to stay subscribed to this channel. We're going to be covering the game like no tomorrow, because it's one of the games I see that's going to hold the future of things in the games industry, and actually be really proving to be awesome, to be honest. Sticking on that point, a lot of people are saying this game has the future and the potential to become almost like EVE Online in a way. For those unfamiliar with EVE Online, it's a giant MMO where players could basically do whatever they want, in terms of the fact they could be an intelligence agency, they could be a military, they could be pirates, bounty hunters, things like that, and players could forge their own destiny really. And this is the similar sort of thing that Dual Universe are aiming for. Again, my interview with JC revealed a lot about the intentions for the game, particularly on how players can choose their own destiny, they can become part of an organisation, they can then maybe be a bounty hunter, they can be a pirate, be a builder. One of the great things I liked particularly was that a builder could build this certain class of starship, everyone starts using it, and then that builder becomes famous in the game for building that particular type of starship. That is very interesting. I like the idea of that, especially when people post workshop creations all the time. If you're into modding communities like I am, certain modders and creators of certain things become famous in their little communities. They're building certain things. If you know the Space Sims community, there's a guy called Secton who's become famous for building mods and stuff like that. Everyone knows his name, sort of things like that. So if that can actually happen in-game, in Dual Universe, that would be amazing. Another example is the guy who runs the intelligence agency in EVE Online. He's famous IRL and in-game as well for running the most meanest intelligence agency ever, as well as his shady tactics. I've forgotten the name off the top of my head, but you can go and research it there. IGN and Eurogamer did a video on it, and it's quite freaky really to see this guy controlling all this power in a game. And I'd love to see Dual Universe become this thing, because it's absolutely amazing. Now, a lot of people's reactions to this game and the trailer dropping are really cool. Now, one thing I'm picking up from people's comments on this, people are saying it's got a giant No Man's Sky comparison. Not really. I mean, yes, it has in one aspect. However, they're aiming for something completely different for No Man's Sky. A lot of what I can grasp about No Man's Sky's original vision before the whole sort of drama side of things, I won't really go into that because I don't like it, but No Man's Sky's original vision was to explore the galaxy around you, do trade missions, become a pirate if you wanted, and things like that. Whereas Dual Universe has a much more broader idea of what you, specifically you, can do as a creator and player in the universe. You can become a ship captain, you can lead exploration voyages, you can become a head of an organization. It's more like EVE Online than it is No Man's Sky. And I think people are only making the No Man's Sky's comparison because they're watching it so closely. They're watching a game that's been hyped up massively and is promising to deliver so much, and they're hoping it's not going to flop. And the only reason they're comparing it to No Man's Sky is because it's what No Man's Sky did. It promised a lot of things, then kind of didn't deliver. But that's a debated topic for another time. I don't want to go into this video because it is very sort of dramatified and it's just a bit negative in a way. But some people like don't like the fact Dual Universe is compared to No Man's Sky. Like I said, in one way it is like No Man's Sky, but in another way it is its own individual thing. And if you ever get to watch more of JC's videos, like I said, I'll link my interview up above, you do learn that the intention for the game is completely different. I see a lot of people getting angry at IGN for mentioning it's No Man's Sky. A lot of people are also saying it's comparison to Star Citizen. I think it could possibly give Star Citizen a run for its money. I'd love to know what you guys think about that. But rounding that little topic over there, I don't think Dual Universe is going to be anything like No Man's Sky. Sure, it'll contain elements like the game, but then again, most games contain elements of other games. Halo contains elements of Call of Duty, and vice versa. Don't lynch me for that comment, it's just a fact. But yes guys, this has been the Dual Universe pre-alpha announcement trailer. I thought I'd have a little discussion on the topic there, get you guys involved as well. As usual, I'd love to hear your opinion on Dual Universe's pre-alpha, and I'd also like to hear your opinion on my video here. I know it's a bit rushed day, so if you do have an opinion, please do comment it down below in my comments. I read and answer every single comment, so please do let me know your opinions. It'll be really cool. Anyway guys, thank you for watching. I've been CamJack, and if you want to subscribe for more Dual Universe coverage, don't worry, I'll be covering the game all of next year and the rest of this year. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.